When you've got friends like Tice, I suppose you don't really need enemies, do you? Tice has pretty well undercut.
And I'm not going to criticise the leaders who are trying to secure peace. It's really difficult. They've got huge tensions, massive pressure on them.
Yeah.
Obviously, President Zelensky, huge pressures on him, all just relentless decisions and challenges, and his own people dying every day.
Yeah.
Huge pressures on President Trump,
Yeah.
believe it or not, because he told his electorate that he would secure a peace in Ukraine. So all these leaders have got pressure.
Well, he said he would do it in 24 hours as well.
Farage's comments about Zelensky, and he said that the deal in the White House was the worst deal in history. In this, I agree with Tice.
Back in 2008, at the Bucharest NATO conference, America was saying we should let Ukraine into NATO.
Yeah.
And that was rejected by Germany and France.
Yeah.
And the Brits didn't even bother to show up to the meeting.
Yeah.
Just think. You think about these big decisions.
Yeah.
If that had happened back then, 4 or 5 years after that, then Russia wouldn't have been able to go into Crimea or the eastern Ukraine, and we wouldn't be where we are. So, you know, these long-term strategic decisions are very important, and we have to acknowledge mistakes have been made in the past.
No doubt that image is etched on your mind of Priti Patel and Nigel Farage dancing. It's the latest political clash between these two is an exercise in point scoring, because I don't think they're friends anymore. Patel's attack on Farage comes hot on the heels of his public rebuke of her figures on the Chagos Islands, an episode that showcased his characteristic swagger in exposing numerical inconsistencies. And now Patel has seized the opportunity to return fire, accusing Farage of equivocating over Russia's invasion of Ukraine and likening his position to that of Jeremy Corbyn. Given their long acquaintance, Patel's vehemence suggests a real fracture in their relationship. This is no friendly jibe, but a full-throated denunciation.
As well, we need to be constructive in our ways of working. We need to treat each other with respect, and also we have to understand the context as to, you know, what President Zelensky and the people, God bless them, the people of Ukraine, what they are enduring and what they're suffering.
If there was ever a veneer of unity between right-wing populist factions in the UK, it's cracking under the strain of this latest diplomatic controversy. It seems that Farage and Patel are no longer on dancing terms, and Tice has firmly chosen his side. The backdrop to this row is the fallout from last week's Oval Office spectacle, where Trump and Vance publicly clashed with the Ukrainian President Zelensky. And Farage, eager to maintain his rapport with Trump, was initially hesitant to condemn the debacle, keeping quiet, eventually offering a lukewarm criticism, describing the spat as regrettable, but laying significant blame at Zelensky's feet. His comments in LBC, suggesting that Zelensky should have thought about wearing a suit and that he had been rude to Trump, reveal his instinctive alignment with the MAGA narrative, yet his position has left him vulnerable to attacks from multiple political flanks. Patel's response was immediate and scathing. In a GB News interview, she drew an explicit historical parallel between Zelensky and Winston Churchill, reminding her audience that Churchill had worn battle dress when visiting the White House during the Second World War. By invoking Britain's most lionised wartime leader, Patel was making a not-so-subtle play for public sentiment. Zelensky, she argued, is a hero, resisting an illegal and barbaric invasion, and any attempt to undermine him is morally wrong and diplomatically irresponsible. Her broader accusation that Farage is indulging in dangerous ambiguity on Russia taps into a known weakness. During the general election, Farage's comments on Russia were widely criticised, and his Reform Party's final vote share of 14.3% was lower than anticipated. With Reform now polling at 25%, Patel and her allies hope to reignite that controversy, using Ukraine as a wedge to slow Farage's momentum. The Tories, however, are not entirely united in their approach. While Patel and other senior figures see political mileage in attacking reform, some Conservative MPs fear that too much aggression risks alienating right-wing voters they hope to win back. But Patel appears to have calculated that, on Ukraine at least, public sentiment is firmly on her side. Labour, too, is keen to capitalise on the issue, with Keir Starmer using his common statement to position himself as the responsible international leader, warning against fawning to Putin and reaffirming Britain's commitment to Ukraine. Kemi Badenoch, as Conservative leader, played a more restrained hand, backing Starmer's position without amplifying the partisan attacks. Farage, meanwhile, faces an increasingly difficult balancing act. His natural instincts push him towards a pro-Trump position, but his past remarks on Russia leave him vulnerable to accusations of equivocation. With Patel, Labour, and now even formal allies like Tice putting him under pressure, he may soon find that straddling the transatlantic divide between Trumpism and British political realities is an unsustainable. And let's finish with a bit of Tice.
We all want peace. We've got to try, however hard it is, you've got to keep trying.
Yeah.
But you'll only get a proper peace with robust security guarantees. What I've been saying, put everything on the table, including there's not enough discussion about the 300...
He's calling on Europe to use Russia's frozen assets. I don't think that's a good idea, but nevertheless, he's making it quite clear that he doesn't he doesn't unequivocally support his leader's position on Ukraine, Zelensky, Putin, and Trump, the orange man.